Another bonkers weekend in Sky Bet League One, broken down over the next half an hour or so. 5 Yorkshire clubs, George, in the league. Means lots of Yorkshire derbies. One of them at Valley Parade saw Bradford beat Huddersfield by 3-1, and a local lad at the heart of it.
Yeah, Bobby Poynton, his West Yorkshire derby. A few quite bad derbies around football at the moment, but this was definitely not one of them. An entertaining game with a Bradford fan who said in his post-match interview, obviously I'm not Huddersfield's biggest fan, I'm a City fan, which I really liked. Whether he scored 2 or 3 goals is up for debate, because you're saying 2. Did you watch his post-match? And he said, me and Steve. I don't know who Steve is.
He had the ball under his arm.
Yeah, and he said that's why I've got this.
Yeah.
Who's Steve?
Steve
Poynton.
Bradford
Dad.
City. Yeah, could be.
He said, me and Steve have watched like the zoomed in freeze frame, and you can see that it comes off my knee.
Yeah.
So
I did watch the replay 8 times.
Right.
And I'm finding it hard to see obvious deviation.
There's no obvious, there's not an obvious. We need to see Snicko, I think, is the
be a great addition to the game.
Oh, hotspot would be fantastic for that. Actually.
Yeah.
God, talking about cricket a lot on the pod, aren't we? But it was a funny game, this, because Huddersfield came closest in the first 10 minutes or so. Ryan Ledson had a shot from distance that just went wide, and who was it? It was Joe Taylor had one that was deflected onto the crossbar. So kind of Huddersfield making the early running, and then they went the other end. Swan turned provider for Poynton with the first goal, and then just a mad minute right at the end of injury time in the first half with Poynton getting a second, and then Josh Neufeld putting a ball across the 6-yard box, possibly hitting Bobby Poynton's knee, and then going into the back of the net off the inside of the post. I think it's currently been credited to Neufeld, but Poynton would obviously, as a Bradford City fan, having not played each other in the league for a very long time, I think for Poynton to get the match ball and score a hat-trick. And it's interesting that the thumbnail that Bradford have used for their match highlights is Poynton holding the ball with 3 fingers up, pointing at the thing. So Josh Neuf, if you're listening to this, we feel for you as well, mate. Hopefully you can find it in your heart to give it to Bob. Redmond scored a nice little flick, the loanee from Villa later on in the game, but this was one in the first half, a brilliant kind of half an hour spell from Bradford, continuing their very, very strong start to the season.
How do we analyse a team that has 17 points through 8 games, an unbelievable home record, which since the start of last season reads 21 wins, 4 draws, 2 defeats for 2.48 PPG in that time, who lost to Donny last weekend, but otherwise have looked pretty dynamic and pretty dangerous against most oppositions. Their 10 goals conceded in 8 games is somewhat leakier than most teams towards the top end of the table, and something that will need to improve. But is this a case where you think they are here to challenge for the top 6, for automatic promotion? Is this a case which is not meant as criticism if it is the case, because it happens to a lot of teams where the momentum, if you like, of an incredible end to last season is carrying them through the first month or two, and reality and gravity might take them down more towards mid-table? What do you reckon?
I think this is where we have to draw the line, which as football fans never do, between expectation and hope. Like, there's no reason why Bradford fans shouldn't now hope that they can win League One. Like, why not? Like, the points tally is good, the performances are good, the numbers are good. They're beating good opposition consistently. Like, they should hope that they are able to maintain this quality. What should they expect? To challenge for the top 6? But, if suddenly they have a poor run and they fall back to mid-table, that doesn't suddenly become a sacking offence. They need to change it, and they've squandered a good position. So, yeah, they look, in what looks a pretty open league, they look a really good side and have a group where they're not overly reliant on one goal scorer. We're seeing Poynton and Swan kind of lead the charge there. They look not particularly solid. They're leaking quite a few goals, but given their attacking threat and their home form, they should believe in their ability to maintain it. So, yeah, dare to dream, Bantams.
Like it. Luton 2, Argyle 3, just bonkers. In what was a pretty insane weekend across the EFL with so many late winners, late equalisers, I still think that's the away end I would most like to have been in. And that's not least because I think the Argyle fans are quite fun and quite a funny group. I think that Luton is quite an iconic away end to be in anyway. But Argyle winning this game by 3-2 doesn't even tell half the story. The good news is that Argyle winning at odds of 9-2 means they were the Sky Bet surprise of the weekend, the biggest price winners across the EFL with Sky Bet. And they went ahead with a really nice goal. Laurent Tolai has really started well, and not that surprising, to be honest. He latched onto the ball as he does well. He shifted onto his left foot and crossed for Sorinola at the back post. Then Brendan Wiredu caught a Luton player in the face, challenging for a ball. Nordas it was. Penalty. Yates 1-1. Then Bradley Ibrahim, who I think has real cult hero potential, given the way that he plays, how full-hearted he is on the pitch and in his goal celebrations. Won the ball back high up the pitch, smashed it in 2-1, Plymouth Argyle. Then another penalty. Across, Kodjua going for the ball, pushed in the back. Nicky Wells this time scores 2-2. So, what happens next? A red card for Edwards, the captain of Plymouth Argyle, the leader, flying in. Excessive force, dangerous play, red card, Argyle down to 10. They've just conceded a second equaliser. Surely now Luton will come on, put pressure on and win the game. Luton do put pressure on. Luton do have some shots. But they survive, Argyle. And then Laurent Tolai gets the ball on the halfway line. And he turns and Keely's out of his goal. So Tolai thinks, maybe I'll score from halfway, like people seem to enjoy doing at the moment. He goes for it, doesn't catch it at all well. It's a really poor attempt. And as it's going out for a goal kick, Keely sort of goes to gather it. And then he either decides last minute that he shouldn't gather it, he should just let it go, or he basically kind of misses it. And what happens is it goes behind. And the liner and the ref go, yeah, I think you touched that. Let's give a corner. Corner to Argyle. While the corner is waiting to be taken, Tom Cleverley is up to something. I don't know what. Ref goes over to him, red card. Cleverley takes hours to put his coat on. And then is like, to get back in through the tunnel, the tunnel's in that far corner. So Cleverley walks all the way around from the dugout, all the way around to the far corner to walk off the pitch. Takes another 30 seconds, 60 seconds. The whole thing's taking a long time. And there's a lot of pantomime around it. Then the corner comes in, it bounces around. Jordan Clark smashes a clearance straight onto Bradley Ibrahim, flies into the top corner. Ibrahim goal, Bedlam celebrates it as if he has just scored the greatest goal of all time in front of a bonkers away end. Honestly, an absurd and hilarious football match, which we just love to see, and an absurd, hilarious way to win it. And the sort of game where sometimes the Sky Bet surprise has been all about smart game plans and perfect execution and back-to-the-wall performances and taking your chances at the right time. This was just glorious chaos, and I don't know any other way to analyse it. And I think the winning goal, scored by Bradley Ibrahim, really summed it up. So, Argyle, what fun. Sky Bet surprise winners of the weekend, beating Luton at Kenilworth Road at 9-2. On a more serious note for Argyle, George, this has been a very good response and recovery to what was a poor start to the season. When you look at like Blackpool, for example, when you look at Sheffield United in the Championship, other teams that started poorly when it wasn't expected, bit of panic has set in, and they're not out of it yet. But Argyle and Cleverley do deserve some credit, I think, for how they've responded to what felt like basically 10 out of 10 unhappiness just a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, they do. Yeah. I mean, I think when the tide turns and teams pick up good results, you've got to look into the performances themselves. Like, have the performances against Stockport and Luton been better than what came before? Like, absolutely yes. Like, clearly yes. And moments of brilliance, particularly in the Stockport game, helped them get to where they got to. Have they been like a relentlessly good side in both? Not necessarily. Have they had elements of luck that have gone their way in both? Yes. So it's how you now manage the situation going forward and ensure that you capitalise on the good feeling. You were a club who not long ago seemed to be spiralling, and that spiral has stopped due to results and against decent opposition, because Luton are clearly decent opposition. Stockport, albeit they hadn't started the season great, they put in a very good performance, as I'll talk about in a second, on Saturday, and I'm sure they will still be a really good League One side. So definitely positives. But just, when a team scores 4, of which 3 are bangers from range. And then, as you mentioned, get a winner because a clearance smacks their player in the face and goes in, albeit the first finish from Ibrahim was a really, really well taken goal. And he looks like a really good addition for Argyle. You need to temper expectations a little bit, not to think, suddenly, we are here. This is us. We're class.
Barnsley beat Reading by 3-2. I don't like having to write YouTube titles, so I say this with love and not even great criticism, because sometimes you just don't really know what to write. But the Sky Sports highlights here said, Tykes end 26-year wait for Oakwell win over Royals.
Yeah, it's been a big thing. It's been a big thing. It's the first thing Connor said after the game.
Huge.
Yeah, finally got the monkey off our back. This was a relatively chaotic game, won by Barnsley. I was looking through the Barnsley team, and Barnsley have a clutch of players who have racked up so many EFL minutes at a relatively young age. Where you think of it, you look through it and you're like, obviously Didzy's a different case. 37 years old, played like a stupid amount. But like Luke O'Connell is 24 years old. Adam Phillips. I feel like Adam Phillips has been around for the whole pod. He's 27.
Yeah.
Josh Earl, the scorer of the first goal, 26. Made his debut for Preston 9 years ago.
Wow.
Like it's interesting. And David Keeler-Dunn, another one, 27 years old. He's been playing in the EFL for, and we're talking about him on Quest, 6-7 years ago.
Quest. What a show.
I know. Bring it back. Bring it back.
Bring it back.
And so it's kind of fun that you've got this smattering of the youthful exuberance in the midfield in Vickers, who we know is very strong and bland as well, who started alongside him. It's just quite a fun team, really. And they're having a really fun time football under a young manager who is kind of similar, I guess, in profile, who racked up a lot of minutes at a very young age. The first goal came from a set piece from Josh Earl. They'd started the game pretty well. It was a goalkeeping error from Cooper that led to Marriott's goal, where he kind of came out and tried to seemingly shepherd the ball out of play, even though it was never really going to be going anywhere near the throw-in, the touchline. And Marriott got him, kind of nicked the ball and managed to finish off nicely. Keeler-Dunn got his customary goal. The penalty came, which looked pretty soft, but Adam Phillips tucked it away. And then Carrera scored with 25 minutes or so to go to make it 3-2 and cause some jeopardy within the game. But it never really looked like Reading were going to be able to score that equaliser. I think, if I was going to speculate as to who the next manager to be sacked in League One will be, although maybe sack's the wrong word, because it just wouldn't surprise me at all if Reading are immediately picking up the phone to Ruben Sayers and saying, we've had one comeback, someone is slipping into your position.
They'd still have to sack the manager in order to appoint Ruben Sayers.
Or do you
made it sound like they could just appoint him and Noel Hunt's wait, what?
Or say, Noel, how do you fancy your job back?
23s.
Being, I thought he's not his assistant.
No.
Well, how do you fancy being Ruben's assistant?
Right.
Because
not really, thanks.
Do you think
just being the manager for the last 4 months after he left us?
Yeah, and you weren't very good at it. So
you want me to
what are you
just
gonna do now?
sit by his side and say, yes,
no,
Ruben, no, Ruben.
No, you're a club legend. Okay, and we're really
do you know what I'd love to do? Manage the 23s.
Okay, we can do that too.
Well, although if I had to choose, maybe I could keep being the manager because I like that too.
So it'll be a reshuffle. No, you can't do that.
Okay. All right, boss.
Voluntary redundancy or yeah. We'll see. But it feels really obvious to me that Ruben Sayers is probably unlikely to get another championship job anytime soon, and B, he needs to go somewhere that appreciate. He's, as is always the way when a manager, especially one that isn't very experienced, has a really poor spell in charge of a club, he is by a lot of fans being perceived as some kind of clown, and he's quite obviously not a clown, and he's a very good coach who's shown over a much longer period of time away from Sheffield United that he is that, even at Hull, but mostly of course at Reading, and I think they'd be mad not to try and bring him back in.
There was a very sexy pass from the aforementioned Luke O'Connell out to Ogbeta, who looped it across for Keeler-Dunn's goal. Connell's technique is beautiful, and he's playing really well this season after, I think, what wasn't his best season last season. And Barnsley, 16 points from 7 games, is their best start to a league season since 96-97, which was the year they won promotion to the Premier League, George. So Danny Wilson and Neil Redfern, more like Conor Harrahan and David Keeler-Dunn. Really fun team. Really fun start to the season. You could say the same for Wigan. They beat Donny 3-0 Their third win of the season. I feel like Wigan have won more than 3 games, but I realise it's because the 3 games they've won have all been like really dominant displays, which we've got quite excited about, and then haven't backed it up elsewhere. So that's the challenge.
Yeah.
But this was by far the most impressive, being as it was against Donny, who are a strong side. Hungbo with a good cross, eventually bundled in by Dara Costello, who really needed that. He's had some big misses this season, but he's the sort of attacking player that gets into a lot of good positions, and so in my eyes is as likely to have a hot streak of 4 in 4 than he is to have a cold streak as he has done so far, and celebrated as if he feels the same. Composure of the weekend from Matt Smith. The ball was punched out by Lotutala. Smith could have smashed it on the half volley first time. Instead, beautiful dummy shot. Basically just stepped on the ball. Defender slid past him, took a breath, took a touch, and passed it firmly into the goal. And then, of course, Fraser Murray.
What a goal.
The best of the Murray brothers. He got it wide right. And you're thinking, don't let him cross. He's a really good crosser. So you're like, okay, we'll send him inside then onto his weaker foot. He just cut in and smashed it with his left foot. Timotei Lotutala got a hand to it, but pushed it into the net.
He's got a really good happy face when he scores.
Fraser. Nice.
Murray.
Fraser Murray.
Your first name terms then.
What a signing. What a signing. Ryan Lowe clearly has Wigan playing very well at home, but it's only 2 points from 4 away from home. So that's where they need to win. We had 2 teams in League One winning their first games of the season. Port Vale, well, if you listen to the pod, you know that in our eyes, Port Vale have won almost every game this season based on their performances and strong underlying numbers. They've been sowing and sowing and sowing and sowing, and they reaped for the first time. 2-0 up at half-time. Gifted goals, really, by Exeter. Poor passing at the back. Poor touch from Doyle Hayes. Gave Rory Payton a good chance to score, which he took. Kind of an interesting comeback story for Payton, who signed last season, spent half a season. Moore didn't seem to fancy him that much and loaned him back to Scotland to Dundee United, where he didn't score. So you're thinking coming back, they're probably looking to ship him out. It's not gone very well for him. Instead, they've lost Tolai. Stockley's injured. They signed DeJean Brown and Mo Farl, but Payton's starting in front of them and scored here. And he's starting up top with Devante Cole, who made it 2-0, showing nice speed in behind after another poor touch, this time from Ed Francis, to finish 1v1, which is what Cole does very, very well at this level. Exeter, a few openings in the second half, but not much. And for Vale, just getting this win, making the most of some opportunities that were given to them, probably feeling like they've been unfortunate in large parts of this season so far. I would hope that gives them the platform to turn more of these poor performances into good results, because, in terms of the team that they are, I just don't see them being a bottom 4 side. Whereas Exeter, yes, it's 3 wins this season, 5 defeats. To me, it's the L's that look like the sort of stronger thread than the W's form-wise. Like just the way that they are playing in defeats, and yes, 2 good home wins they've had, but they've not aged very well because they're against Blackpool and I think Peterborough, 2 of the worst teams in the league so far, and then nicked one at Wycombe as well, who also very low on confidence. So Exeter need to show something in the next few games. Caldwell is under pressure again, and he has overcome that many times before, and he may need to do so again. Peterborough won their first game of the season, 14 without a win before their 2-1 win against Wycombe. A lot of the same teams we're coming back to that are really struggling to start this season. Hello and welcome to the radar, Matthew Garbett. Been a really nice injection of Kiwis into the EFL this season with Libby Kakachi at Wrexham and Matty Garbett.
Has your life ever had a really nice injection of kiwis?
No, I hate one of my least favourite fruits of the fruits.
One of your least favourite?
Just
alongside...
I've got a few others.
Go on.
I'll tell you in a bit. Well, okay. I'm in the middle of telling you about Matthew Garbett.
No one cares about this.
Feels more important. He's a Kiwi, 30 caps for New Zealand, in fact, and they signed him after a couple of years at NAC Breda in the Dutch leagues, and he got the ball 25, 30 yards out, took a touch and smashed it in. And I believe, from those that have watched him play more than me, including NTT20.com's Craig Bradley, it's not a great surprise, because I think he's very much got that in his locker. Attacking, forward-thinking midfield player, good physical attributes, fast, strong, hard-working. Craig wrote on NTT20.com that he does play the game at 100 miles an hour, which can be to his detriment in terms of control and retaining possession. But had a decent goal and assist output in the Eredivisie a couple of years ago, and Posh fans pretty excited about him. Jimmy J. Morgan made it 2-0. And you had a bit of a go at him last week for celebrating too much a goal where it just hit him on the bum and gone in. This one was, it was still basically a tap-in after Leonard's shot had been saved, but he obviously took your words to heart because he didn't celebrate at all. He trotted over. It wasn't like an angry celebrate. It wasn't a Matthew Dennis,
no. And
it wasn't muted. He just sort of walked over to the posh fans, just stood there looking at them while they celebrated at him. Which must have been a cool feeling.
He's got a weird attitude towards celebrations. Did you notice, although we're skipping back a league, Ollie McBurney's muted celebrations were the first when he scored and the second one when they scored last when he equalised, were both times he got up in order to, and then he could see him remember and be like, no, okay.
Well, you got to play the game.
Classy man.
You can't upset the footballing gods. It strikes me that twice now Jimmy J. Morgan has scored after Harry Leonard, his strike partner, has done the hard bit, which is a bit like, to use an analogy from our favourite sport, it's a bit like the opening bowler that's all shape and seam and accuracy and bowling sort of fifth stump line, who just keeps beating the outside edge, doesn't actually get any wickets.
Yeah.
And then the loose one at the other end, the spinner or the fast bowler who's spraying it, picks up all the wickets after they've done most of the hard work. But you know what? That sounds like a good strike partnership to me. Wycombe have lost 5 out of 8. Not really much else to say at this point. We're just desperate to see a Wycombe team put in a 90-minute performance rather than one that's just little spells and flashes. One that shows some sort of character to actually grab a game by the scruff of its neck and win it. And a manager have a slightly better idea of how to get that out of his team, because at the moment they're just really listless and kind of petering towards a managerial change. But frankly, in a league with 4 relegation spots, as Bristol Rovers found out last season, you can't just sleepwalk in this league, because you can get relegated. They've got Northampton at home next and then Wimbledon away, so massive games for Dodds if he takes charge of them for those, particularly as Northampton thought they were a bad team, might be a good team. 3 wins in a row, all to nil, beating Blackburn by 1-0.
Yeah, big run of wins this for Northampton, beating a Blackpool side who just looks so far off the team that we thought we were going to see this season. Really, really poor. And they were, it wasn't a great game. There weren't many chances in the first half. Northampton kind of restricting Blackpool to very, very little indeed. The goal itself came from Cameron McGeehan, who pops up so regularly with important goals for Northampton. They thought they'd scored prior to the goal going in, but McGeehan was called out for a foul before it was struck in from the edge of the area. But yeah, McGeehan getting the all-important goal. For Northampton, yeah, you say we thought they were bad, maybe they're okay. The wins have come at home against Exeter and Blackpool. Exeter on the road have been abysmal. Blackpool full stop have been abysmal.
I'm trying to work out, it's like those teams have played more games than anyone else, because the amount of times I look at a team's wins this season and they've been against Blackpool or Peterborough or Exeter. Yeah. How many teams are these guys playing every week?
For sure. Yeah. I mean, the most impressive win was obviously the 1-0 away win at Orient, where they were by far the better team. And they do look, before a ball was kicked this season, they looked a team to be really concerned about because of the lack of depth and quality, especially from a goal scoring perspective. But Nolan's got them drilled really well and they look pretty solid defensively. So, the caveat being the opposition possibly, but a big run of 3 wins on the trot and a kind of pushing themselves away from those relegation likely candidates.
And to me, Cam McGeehan's a bit of an icon because he just has the knack that most attacking midfielders don't have for making scoring goals more likely by the positions that you get yourself into. And that's best represented by the fact that in League One this season, 3 players have had 5 shots inside the 6-yard box, the most in the league. And they are Ethan Wheatley, his Northampton teammate, Cameron McGeehan, and of course, Captain Fantastic Owen Bailey. It's not a fluke when your central midfielder scores loads of goals if they're getting into the most high tariff and most valuable goal scoring positions. This one wasn't from within the 6-yard box, but it was a classic McGeehan goal. And he scored 10 last season. If you're a Northampton and you're trying to stay up and you've got a midfield player, attacking midfield player that scores 10 for you, worth its weight in gold. And he's got that lovely sort of golden curly hair as well. Wimbledon beat Rotherham 2-1. Good second half display, George.
A very good second half display after a pretty dismal first half display, but massively turning it around. and credit to them for doing so, because obviously it came off the back of the really disappointing loss away at Bolton, where Marcus Brown's red card did them absolutely no favours. But hosting Rotherham seemed like a pretty good game for them to get back up and running and into winning ways. But it was Jordan Hugill, who scored the opening goal after a first half of very little happening. But the goal of the game certainly coming from Jake Greaves, a really nice he brought the ball out of midfield, a give and go and a strike from the edge of the box, which found its way into the corner.
Mad technique on that.
Yeah, I don't understand how he hit it at all.
Was it toe punt? Was it outside of the foot?
I couldn't really work it out.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
There was no good replay, and it was slightly obscured by the defender.
like almost like a knuckleball with the outside of his foot. It was strange. They got a penalty, which was dispatched by Matty Stevens. I think it was a controversial one. I feel like I saw a lot of kind of controversial, kind of tame penalties. But yeah, Stevens tucking it away. Dons were very good in the second half, and after a poor first half, were fully deserving of their win. And compound for Rotherham Rotherham came here off the back of that big 1-0 win against Exeter. Would have hoped at half-time they could have followed that up with another one. But again, big concerns about Rotherham, who don't look like a strong side to me.
Hey, what about Burton 0, Lincoln 1? Lincoln just sliding along under that radar. Mad record they've got. In first halves, 8 they've played this season. Yeah. They've been leading at halftime 7 out of 8.
That is weird. Here it was thanks to a kind of regulation set-piece goal. Sonny Bradley just nodding in the box, as he tends to do. Burton had loads of the ball. I think that might be something that we see consistently when you consider now they've got George Evans at the base of midfield. And we know that Charlie Webster's obviously a very good ball player in there too. Bit of a message maybe to the kind of the owners or the fans, where 5 minutes ago Gary Bowyer took off Jake Beasley and brought on centre-back Jason Straha and sent him up front, and said afterwards in the post-match that's kind of where we are right now, and those are the options. We don't have any other options in order to do that, which is a bit of a concern. But Burton were by no means bad in this game. It was just a classic low margin, not many chances. One team finds a way to score from a set piece, and that means the 3 points go Lincoln's way.
3-1 all draws. First one, the team that loves drawing 1-1. Bolton Wanderers at Leyton Orient. Jesus Christ. Mario Cozier.
What a goal that is.
Continuing to pay homage to Giorgio Armani.
Yep.
Which is a nice touch.
Lovely respect. Really
good respect, and rightly so. And what I loved about this is he gets the ball out wide, as he does 40 times a game, and El Miz goes over, so they double up on him, the left back and El Mizuni, and they kind of cut off any way that he can cut in and shoot or cross. And that's great. So he plays it inside, I think, to Sheehan. And you can kind of see El Miz be like, okay, cool. Because Jubi doesn't have it. Take a breath. Oh my God, he's darted into space. He's got it back. Oh my God, he's cut in. Oh my God, he's just bent it at speed into the top corner and equalised in injury time. Genuinely breathtaking.
Yeah.
And I tweeted off our account a video of the goal and said, when was the last time a player was so clearly playing in the wrong league? And I put forward Elliot Anderson in League 2 for Bristol Rovers. There were loads of good suggestions from the interim period. Yeah. And then there was a subsection of real gagsters who were going like Andre Onana.
Right.
Because he shouldn't be playing in the Premier League, because he was so bad, he shouldn't be playing in the Premier League.
Of course.
Which good stuff. Yeah, good fun stuff. Stockport drew 1-1 with Cardiff. I should say the Orient goal was a nice one, but they got Cozier Dubrid, and they won't be the first. Well, they aren't the first, and they won't be the last. Stockport 1, Cardiff 1. As if things couldn't get any better for Cardiff fans after 5 wins and a draw in August, with 1 goal conceded. They score a 97th minute away equaliser. Josef Salek heading home, cancelling out an Ollie Norwood penalty, which means they still haven't conceded from open play, but Nathan Trott has been breached, Your Honour. Nathan Trott has been breached. 1-1 there. Stockport frustrated again, albeit a much better performance. And then Mansfield and Stevenage drew by 1-0. Stevenage went ahead through Charlie Good, and it jerked Mansfield into life. A Stevenage set piece that was caught by the keeper, rolled out to Joe Gardner, who just took it all the way. Carried it, smashed it in. What a run. Fun goal against the club he played for last season on loan. Joe Gardner. Take a bow, Sam.